everybody. This is Racquel Palmese. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. It's good to be with you all once more. I think that these Wisdom Wednesdays have been going on now for about 2 years, almost 2 years, and it's been an amazing adventure for me to reach out in this way and to receive so much feedback and connection from all over the world. I really appreciate you and feel so much love coming out of this little container that we're in together. So welcome here. The subject of today, how to choose a path, is one that has been coming up in my work ever since I started it decades ago. People trying to figure out what they're supposed to be doing, who they are, what they're meant to be doing, or what they want, what they need, what kind of work, what kind of doingness in the world would satisfy and be possible. Deciding that is sometimes like trying to choose between what was in this title, choosing between 10 different kinds of paths, maybe more. They are all lying out there. Maybe I should go to work for a corporation, or maybe I should become a healer, massage therapist, or maybe I should become this or that or the other thing. And we will employ our egos to see what feels good, what excites me. I want to make a lot of money is something I hear a lot, especially from younger people. I want to be a basketball star. I want to model myself after the gymnast that just won the Olympics. We can feel this pull towards doing something extraordinary. A lot of people are trying to become musicians. A lot of people are trying to decide if there's anything out there that even appeals to them. Something that they'd actually be willing to work towards. And a lot of times, we just come up kind of blank, or we come up with somebody else's idea, like what somebody else is doing. Well, I want to be just like my best friend. I want to start a business making kombucha. There's so many choices. And one of the really difficult things about living in our society, in our culture, is that no matter what socioeconomic level we're at, we do have an abundance of choices. And sometimes those choices can be a burden. Sometimes, rather than just allowing ourselves to flow into something, we feel compelled to choose something that defines us, that satisfies an ego need in us. So we try to picture ourselves doing something. I can see myself doing this or doing that. Usually it is an ego boost to think about it. And a lot of times, more often than not, we will get nowhere fast. Often we will not allow ourselves to actually enjoy the work that we are currently doing, because we're always thinking that we should be doing something different or something better. This is too mundane. All of these are ego problems. So here's the exploration, and if you'll drop in with me for a moment, this is just coming through me as I'm speaking it. So I need you to be here with me. Feel your own quandary. Where is your life going? What does your life mean? These are big questions. How do you define yourself in this material world? Mostly, we define ourselves and each other, unfortunately, by what we do. Oh, hi, how are you? I'm Racquel. I'm a spiritual teacher. And that doingness in the world defines me to a lot of people. They have an idea of what that means. Oh, you're woo-woo out there. And whatever that would mean to a certain person. Me as a human being, that's not exactly involved in that definition of myself. I can't define myself according to what I do. Or I can't define you according to what you do. But I would define you by how you do what you're doing. I had a woman who said, yeah, I'm just a mom. I'm just being a stay-at-home mom right now. She said it almost apologetically. Her child was a pre-teenager. She felt that she should be out in the world doing things. Her ego was pulling her somewhere, but she couldn't decide what would it be that I would do. Nothing appeals. So the problem isn't that she doesn't know how to choose something. The problem is that she's not settled with what she is doing, where she is at in that doingness. How much of her heart is open to her job of being a mom? How much of that grace is flowing through her as she's doing it? Why does she need to apologize for it? Why does she need to think that she should be doing something more when she's already doing the toughest job there is? So look for a moment at your own situation. What are you up to? How are you interfacing with the material world itself? What kind of job do you have? What kind of activities are you engaged in? Just really look at it. How much engagement are you experiencing in this material world? Or are you kind of holding back, waiting, afraid, sort of halfway engaged because you think maybe your job or your school or what you're up to doesn't qualify, doesn't meet what you perceive or what your ego perceives to be worthy or good or even exceptional. The things you are engaged in don't matter as much as how engaged you are in them. How much of yourself do you actually give over to the doingness? How much of yourself do you allow? How open do you allow your heart to be to what you're doing in the world? Or do you tend to complain about it a lot? Do you tend to focus on what didn't happen during the day? mistakes that maybe you made, or others, or somebody that upset you, or this job just sucks? Do you tend to go there? Or are you willing to actually open your heart and mind to have the biggest possible experience that you can have, no matter what it is that you're doing? When you can do that, that is when the universe responds and opens to you and offers you a bigger version of what it is that you're doing. Only when you apply yourself to it does the message go out to spirit that you're a player, that you want to be involved, that you really, really want to have this experience no matter what it is. And when you experience yourself having the best possible or biggest possible experience of whatever it is that you're doing, you'll find that you're not finding fault so much with yourself, with the situation, with the people in it. You're not in judgment all the time, in critical judgment of yourself or others. You're actually opening a field of energy into where you are that will invite other people to want to be with you in it. And you'll find yourself rising to leadership that way. No matter what you're doing, people will see you being okay. They're going to want to be okay too. I don't know what she has, but I want some of it, is what you hear. I don't know what it is about him, but I just want to be around him. His energy is so good, so positive. I learn so much from him all the time, and he's not trying to teach me anything. It's just who he is. He's engaged in what he's doing. And then at some point, we may be faced with making a choice of some kind of life path. We can see a lot of options out there. There's so many, like I said in the beginning. And there's a lot of information out there about how to manifest this and how to make this happen and how to bring this in and all that. Not to say it's not good and valid, but the idea that we think that we have that much control over the actual truth of our destiny is not true. At some point in life, sometimes it's early on, sometimes it happens when we're very young, and sometimes it happens after we're 50 or even 60 or who knows. But at some point, we're asked to choose a path, and we don't know what it is. We just feel something. We feel a restlessness. We feel a need to have a bigger experience. So we'll try to go out and create something. But here's what we might miss, and often do, is that while we are trying to figure it out, we're not actually listening for what is calling us out. What is calling you? And that takes an act of courage. That takes really listening. If you get really quiet right now, close your eyes if you want. Feel a sense of something greater than yourself, calling from a distance. You'll have the feeling, you'll feel it in your heart. You might feel it in your gut. Sometimes that lands like a punch in the stomach. Like, I feel this pressure. This is something that wants to come to me, something that wants me to come to it. I don't know what it is. But I'll tell you what, I'm a yes to it. I'm a yes to being called out. I'm grateful to be at a place in life where I feel called. I don't know yet what it might look like. But if I close my eyes, if I ask, whatever part of that universe, that universal stream of consciousness that's trying to reach out to me, what does it have to do with? Where am I meant to grow? What in me is seeking expression? And does that expression align with what I feel is calling me? These are questions, these are meditative questions that we can ask over and over again, and we might not get a clear answer, but what we will get, what I promise you that you will get, is a stronger and stronger sense of being called. And you might get some wacky idea. Okay, I think I'm supposed to go back to school. I think I'm supposed to learn about something. Nutrition, mechanical engineering, massage, energy work. The world of ideas is out there. But in order to listen to the small voice, we have to put away the loud voice of ego. Nah, I don't want to do that. I have to go to school for 8 years. Who wants to do that? That's impossible. I don't have the money to study that. And all the limited thinking that comes out of ego and ego fear. We have to put it aside, go back in. Take a fresh look again. Make a fresh connection with spirit, with our own higher self. Where are we headed? What are we trying to open to? Feeling the resistance to it peeling away. And we may set off on a series of adventures. We may set off on a series of adventures that lead us to things that look like we're wasting our time. But what it is that we're doing is we're actually showing the universe that we're willing to try, and we will be tested. We will be tested. We may apply for 100 jobs in a field that we really feel we want to be in, and we won't get a job. But that 101st time we try, we'll get a yes. If we stick with it, if we are willing to do the due diligence and the work of getting there and staying on task and not jumping around from one thing to another. If we allow ourselves to be directed by our intuition and our inspiration, if we learn to focus like anybody who gets really good at something has to do. And after a while, you begin to know that you are in alignment with what is true to your soul's journey here. And if that's being in the service industry, if that's waiting tables, if that's being a lifeguard, or if that's being a medical doctor in a hospital, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So feel yourself right now. Are you willing to do the work? Because the work is not just about sitting in meditation and keeping a journal and going to workshops. That's all really good. But the work is the work in the world as well. Applied spirituality means seeking and receiving guidance in how to be in this gift of a material world that we have. How do we interface with it? How do we engage? How do we allow ourselves to fully, unequivocally, unconditionally engage? Maybe that's the word for the week. Engagement in all things. The way you love, the way you work, the way you play. Engage the way you parent, the way you friend. Engagement, heart opening. Okay, my friends, thank you for being with me. I'll see you next Wisdom Wednesday in 2 weeks. Mahalo, Carol. All my love to everybody.